Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to do another episode of Improving at Starcraft. I recently, or actually today rather, I hit Gold 1, and I'm pretty proud of that. I've been working on that for a while. But I thought I'd go over why I think that's the case. And what I've been doing, especially with the feedback from last video, is I've really been focusing on production and spending minerals. Especially like very recently, this is one of the few games where I've paid particular attention to A, not getting supply blocked at all, or as rarely as possible, and B, really spending my minerals. So in this is a TVZ. I see the hatch, so I don't think that he's doing anything suspicious. So I build my natural. It's a pretty standard build. Essentially, I'm aiming to drop him at around 5 minutes in this. But that doesn't end up happening in this game. I executed pretty well, I think. Not perfectly properly, but pretty decently. And so I've scouted his second hatch, and maybe an error on my part is I normally don't expect anything funny to happen. I see a second hatch. But as you can see, he's sort of sending lings, pretty sizable number of lings across the map. And based on his production, getting link speed, and he's just constantly building lings. So these two marines, see them running over. I pulled some SCVs up here to repair these supply depots. He tries to bane bust me, but I have the SCVs ready, and he didn't have enough bane links. So he morphs a few more, or he has a few more rather, and I decided to build here I build a bunker, and I'm building a cyclone, and start my starport, and you can see this, it was enough veins this time, and I decided to pull the SCVs to defend this attack, and actually these did pretty well, and what I sort of don't realize is at this point, at least I think, going back, is I probably could have won the game here. I could have come very close to winning. Could have done some damage by just sort of F2'd across the map. But it's a lot easier to see that. I've doubled the army he has, I guess, and I have a few more SCVs, so maybe that's not true. Maybe the defender's advantage would allow him to survive. But I decided not to do that. It's easier to see after the fact that I'm leading, and obviously I know that he invested a lot, but I didn't know exactly how much he invested. So I just go back to focusing on production in this case. I've sort of obviously got rid of the plan of dropping at 5 minutes, but as you can see, I'm just building a bunch of supply depots. And I'm really trying to keep my mineral count low in this game. He pauses here, which obviously you don't see. That sort of gave me a second to reiterate to myself what's important to me in this game. So I'm just going bio. I think in hindsight I should have built a decent amount more medevacs here. I think you'll see going to the game that I sort of lack in the number of medevacs, but my production's going pretty well. I'm getting upgrades. Notice that I've been falling behind in upgrades more recently. I even forgot stim a game or two, so yeah, so I get stim, and I get my upgrades here in a second. I'm gonna try to drop here, but it's not gonna be very successful, as we'll see. Yeah, I'm doing the wall off and conserve that I normally do. I picked this game because I thought it was pretty fun, seeing the defense against an all-in, and even later it gets pretty interesting. But I'm sort of worried about aggression at this point. I can't remember if I know about this third. I figure out at some point that he is a third before me. So I'm building mine, and I'm just really focusing on infrastructure. I think Terran has a lot to do with just being able to resupply your army fairly quickly is pretty helpful. So I've got a bunch of barracks racks here. Building a factory. I'm going to build a few more when I have the minerals investment for it. And I'm sort of transitioning to take my third. So my SCB relay point over here. And yeah, this is sort of a quieter moment in the game. He does a fairly good job of keeping on top of this production as well, but I'm carrying that sort of early advantage over to the late game. So I have about 35 more supply than he does at this point. Again, starting building a bunch of factories, trying to stay on top of my production. Getting 1-1 here, I think I get. Yeah. So yeah, pretty standard game. He's on 3 base. I think he maybe wasn't the absolute best macro player. I can't tell how much of it was sort of him making errors, how much of it was just me carrying that advantage over from the early game. So as you can see here, I'm, essentially stopping him in production and army supply. He does have an excess of Vespene gas. I'm not sure what that's for. He does end up building swarm hosts, so maybe he's banking for that. But I'm not a Zerg player, so I'm not the best person to tell you that. So yeah, I end up building a 4th here, and again, this is a fairly macro game. I'm going to move out in a second here once I've maxed out. Let's see what upgrades I have at this point. Yeah, so I have 1-1, I have vehicles, I have 1-1 as well, stim, combat shields, and concussive shells, and he has 1-1 as well. And you'll see I make basically what's supposed to be a game-ending error at this point. I'll preface this by saying that it's a huge error, but I also do get a fair amount of lag, especially with this amount of things on the screen. And I thought that I eclipsed, but you'll see that my marines aren't really shooting or are barely shooting. And essentially I just have a whole army of just wanting to death. So that was I lost 100 supply. The game should be over. But I'm confident that I have a lot more production than he does. I don't know if I should be that confident at this point. But I'm fairly certain I can hold. I know he does have swarm hosts. I'm not too familiar with how quickly they come off cooldown, but I know that once they're down, I can do a lot more damage. I know it's quite a lot of them, right? So he has, I don't know, like 15 here or something. So I end up chasing him because I know that he has so many swarm hosts. He only has his army's probably stronger than mine, with all his swarm hosts are down. But I'd say it's like relatively close. You guys end up dying, but do a decent amount of damage. And I'm trying to keep the pressure on while the swarm hosts are down. So they're up again. He's going to end up killing this 3rd, but I've moved my 4th down here, so I can transition my SCVs down there as well. Notice that he's also going into 3000, and I'm again. This doesn't happen in every game I play, but I'm focusing a lot on staying on top of my production. So my mineral count is very low. My gas is pretty high, which is something I could work on. At least in keeping my minerals low. Even though I suppose he is sort of maxed out, so he doesn't have a lot to spend his minerals on. So what I do here, I'll slow this down for a second, just so you can sort of grab your ground, is he's attacking my army, or sorry, rather my bases. And I know that I'm probably going to lose this game, but I figure that this is sort of a base trade scenario, so I just sort of move my army into his bases, and I start moving all my structures over because I can't do a whole lot with one base anyways. I feel that a base trade while the swarm hosts are down is really not an option. So I have made a lot of huge errors in this game, and I probably don't deserve to win. But does decide to pull his entire army back, which is probably, arguably, a mistake. It's hard to tell because I might have been able to kill all of his buildings before he got back. It's hard to tell, but I planted my siege tanks up here, and I killed his army, which is not Slumhouse, while the Slumhouse are down. You'll see here that the medevacs come in very useful here. I do lose a decent amount of Marines, but I also pull up a decent amount of my medevacs, and while the Slumhouse are down, such I can just run over them with Marines. And he has a stupid amount of minerals, a stupid amount of gas. But I think what he's lacking is larva. His larva is very low. So eventually he just taps out. And I sort of steal a game that I probably didn't deserve to win. Almost twofold I didn't deserve to win, I'd say. So I probably should have made 2 huge game-ending errors. But the only reason I really was able to win this game was because I guess I sort of was thinking on my feet to a certain extent with the base trading, and also the early defense all-in against the all-in. But also, again, to reiterate, the production. So if you guys are having any trouble getting out of Gold League, moving up in Gold League, that's something that I was told a lot of times to consider, to think about. Don't let your minerals go too high, don't let your minerals go too high. But sort of through watching a couple of my replays, my earlier replays, where I saw that it really was a factor. And I was ending games with 2,000-3,000 minerals in the bank. Sometimes that's the end of a big fight where you don't, you're paying more attention to macroing your army and less attention to production. But if you focus on production, it can really, really help your game. So glad for watching. This is the second episode, Improving Starcraft, and I'm gonna aim to do one of these these episodes specifically every Monday. Some of my other things on my channel that you guys should check out through 2 or 3 or 4 days of the week. Try to get more content out for you guys. So yeah, like, subscribe if you liked, and let me know how I did. I'll catch you guys later.